Someone got baited into playing Fallout 76.
So I, like many of you, have watched the Fallout show and absolutely devoured it. It's witty, faithful to the source material.
Witty? I am willing to bet money no one can show me a single scene in Fallout, the TV show, that I would ever call witty. In fact, I don't think a single person with an average IQ would ever call any joke or situation in the Fallout TV show witty. And if we're talking about being faithful to the source material, creating 100 billion retcons and story plot elements that don't get resolved and completely abandoned, yeah, sure, I guess so, yeah.
Original, and above all else, does a fantastic job of depicting this fascinating universe. And since why?
If by depicting this fascinating universe mean making everyone who doesn't live in a vault mentally handicapped, yeah, I guess so. That's on the money.
Watching it, I, like many millions of you guys out there, have wanted to go back and try Fallout again. I'm looking for a Fallout fix, and so I've been looking around, and of course we've got a few options. We got the original Fallout games, which are, you know, trimetric top-down RPGs that are very old school. We also have, of course, Fallout 3, New Vegas, and Fallout 4.
Okay.
But we also have another game which many people have told me is way better than it used to be, and that's, of course,
and all of those people are blatantly lying to you,
Fallout 76, which is what we're playing right here, right now. Now, I've actually gone back and tried Fallout 76 multiple times over the last 6 years since it's launched. And yes, it's been 6 years. Do you feel super old yet? I do. It's breaking my brain it's been that long, but yes, it's been...
He's playing a shooting game on a controller. I think that's all you need to know.
Now for almost exactly 6 years. And since then, the game's seen a lot of changes. And thank you to our sponsor, HelloFresh is active. When you hear Fallout 76, you might think of the internet historian video that went viral, chronicling all of the troubles that this game had, not just directly with...
Still has, baby. Don't let that one slide.
The software, but also indirectly with customer service issues, the merchandise issues, all of that crap. Nobody, I would imagine, even at Bethesda, is going to argue that Fallout 76 was a good game at launch. The question is...
I think you're heavily overrating how sad and bad the people working at Bethesda are. They made Starfield just
whether
now.
Or not it's good now. And this is actually one of the few strengths of live service games, is that they constantly receive updates, at least in theory, so they should be capable of improvement and enhancement and even redemption. Did you like that? Did you like me rolling my R? No? Okay, I won't do it again. I'm sorry. But what was honestly pretty cool about the reaction from Bethesda Game Studios to the core issues of Fallout 76 is that they actually went back in and tried to add in things players were expecting or wanted, which, credit to them where it's due. I mean, they, instead of like sticking their head in the sand and pretending like the game was perfect, they went back in and changed their minds about some big stuff. Most notably, the lack of NPCs in the game world. Now, this was something that I actually thought was really cool about Fallout 76.
Well, they added NPCs, but it's not like it feels better because of it. Because the dialogues are bad. And, by the way, when I explain why dialogues in Fallout 76 are bad, people try to fight me in the comments about this, and usually they say, oh, the dialogues in the role-playing game are bad because they're too long? Yes. Yes. Because all the dialogues in Fallout 76 are just extremely beyond poorly written. They are just exposition dumps without any chance to not being exposition dumps. Every NPC that meets you is instantaneously, you're my best friend since childhood. I will do anything and answer any questions. I will explain and give you details about everything here happening without any reason, without question. It's not real dialogue. It's not talking to a human. These dialogues are just so poorly written, and they are way too long, okay? And a dialogue can be long, that's not a problem. You have games like Baldur's Gate 3 where the dialogues are long, really long in some situations, But guess what? All of those dialogues are somehow magically good because they're not written by imbeciles. Here, the dialogues are too long because they're written by imbeciles.
When it was first announced, and that was the idea that you're playing and exploring a wasteland. Like you're not actually exploring a densely populated world. You're not supposed to encounter many people. And when you do encounter people, as we've seen in the Fallout TV show, those people should be crazy self-interested. Everybody should be wholly focused on themselves, how they can better survive and make it to tomorrow, even if that means screwing over the people around them that they're working with in that very moment. And Bethesda kind of asked themselves, who are the most self-interested people? Who is it that could be an NPC in a video game while performing actions that are entirely focused on themselves with wanton disregard of everybody else? And they realized the answer: video gamers. It's us. We're the
And that is obviously a completely horrible and shit answer.
problem. So the concept was
Effectively, let me redefine that a little bit. Bethesda was too lazy to make NPCs because they're bad at everything. So instead of the NPCs, you are the NPC now.
basically to have a game where every NPC you would see in the world was another player. So if you ever encountered another human being in the world of Fallout 76,
that meant either you probably just ran past them and called it a day.
it was going to be another human being. So if you traded with them or interacted with them, it would be like the bridge scene in Fallout, the TV show, where, you know, the two groups of people get on the bridge and they don't know if they should trust each other, so they try to like shimmy.
Only an idiot can watch that scene and think, yeah, this is gonna go nice. This is trustworthy stuff, obviously. Not, bruv.
Past each other because they're not really sure if they should trust each other. No spoilers, but that's what they wanted every interaction to be. Sort of this cautious engagement where you're not sure if you can trust the other player or not. Maybe you can, maybe you
Except that's not how it ended up.
can't, but it's high stakes. And that I thought was a really cool idea. However, when the game launched, inevitably they ran into issues where players would just grief each other, people would sit outside,
You know, the obvious stuff that you should expect to happen in any game.
of like the vault, and
Again, but there's not just geniuses.
just wait for other players to spawn and then just grief them to be funny. And so they did a bunch of changes to make it so you had to basically opt in for PvP and stuff like that. And so a lot of players just
Effectively, they removed PvP, if you're wondering the outcome.
ended up playing Fallout 76 basically solo,
Yeah.
which made it just feel really weird. You were just a lone person.
Yeah, you know, if you want to play a game as escape from real life and, you know, have some kind of social interaction, well, there you go. Fallout 76 just doesn't do that. Have fun.
Walking through the forests of
Honestly, Fallout 76 should have shipped with a free belt and a map with the closest closet.
Appalachia alone without any human interaction. You would find notes from other people, you'd find things they left behind, but you
Which most people would obviously never fucking read because it was dumb.
never actually find any people. And while that might be accurate to an actual post-apocalyptic situation, it doesn't necessarily make for the best video game. And so Bethesda, to their credit, actually updated the game and added in NPCs. And while they may look straight out of the PS3 era, they are here now. You can actually talk to them
A little bit generous about the PS3 era, but okay.
and interact with them. They'll give you quests, and there's entire storylines and quest lines and campaigns to engage with
Look at how they're just looking at him.
from these NPCs. So they pulled a straight up 180 from where they started this game at, and that I think does deserve a little bit of credit. There are, of course, limitations. This is not like Fallout 3 or New Vegas where you can just do whatever you want and the game will adapt. Like in New Vegas, you can basically kill any NPC and the game will react to it. Famously, there's a console command you can actually type into Fallout New Vegas, which is like /kill_all, and it will kill every being in the game world except for you. And so you'll just have all of the quests say quest failed, quest failed, quest failed. It'll take like 15 minutes of quest failed pop-ups because every NPC that was involved with every quest died, so they can't be completed, which is cool because the game actually lets you break it. So if you do something stupid and kill an NPC or whatever, there's an actual consequence to that. And in Fallout 76, that isn't the case. I mean, you can't. They are much more about keeping the...
Now, to be fair, this is, again, our boy is lying here a lot, okay, Steven? This is only something you can do in Fallout 3 to a degree in Fallout New Vegas. Every other game, you can't kill most NPCs that matter. In Starfield, you can't kill anything at all that matters, ever, because idiotism. And in Fallout 4, you can't kill most things.
This on railroad tracks, which is sort of necessary. Don't look at me like that. They have to do it that way because there's other players in this world. You might be playing with a party, and just because you kill this character doesn't mean that other players in the server should suffer the consequences of that. I get it. I understand why they did it. But just understand this is not like a narrative Fallout game. There are still load screens, though. I will say that. There are
no one cares about the load screens. This is not Starfield where you're getting 5 load screens in a row.
Load screens. If you if you're looking for a Bethesda fix, they got you covered. But that brings me to the core question, which is, what is this game? Is it a Fallout game in its purest form? And the answer, frankly, is just no. You can see I'm level 10. And this is on my Xbox account. This isn't like a Steam version. This isn't my PC copy of the game. So.
Also, when you start the game, they just give you the option to be level 20 and everything is pre-made for you because the beginner experience without that is just that bad. Yeah, it's just that bad.
So this is not my most...
Because one of the things in this game is obviously the fact that you do not unlock new guns until you are higher level. So until level like 30-ish, 20-ish, you're not going to be able to find actually anything more interesting than a 10mm pistol.
Well-traveled character, but I haven't put more time in than 10 levels over the last however many years, simply because every time I come back to the game, I just end up playing it for a bit and wishing I was playing Fallout 4 or Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah. One of the crazy things about Fallout 76, it's kind of playable if you have nothing going on. You know, you have no game that you really want to play, you're waiting for something, and you're kind of bored. You can actually play 76. Now, it's going to be a shit experience, and at no point you're going to be like, ah, yes, I am enjoying myself actively. No, that's not happening ever. But you can technically play it. Again, I have sunk a total of 40 or 70 hours in this game. Now, admittedly, the last time I downloaded it was, a couple of days ago. I played for 1 hour and I was like, no. I currently have games that are not actually complete dog shit to play, so I delete. Delete.
I always get in here and I'm like, it's just vaguely similar.
And by the way, if you do that, the Fallout 76 fanboys are gonna come at you and say, "Oh, you didn't play the game enough. You didn't finish the main storyline, the other big storyline. You didn't finish all of the big things that they added into the game." Bruh, shut the fuck up, okay? There being a storyline that's almost half-baked, decent, not garbage, which is doubtable, honestly, that there exists that even in this game. That storyline being barely palpable is not gonna make me not hate Fallout 76 for the absolute abysmal loot, the absolute abysmal gameplay, the absolute abysmal shooting, the non-existence of stealth, and the fact that the only way to actually shoot enemies is by using bots because, shooting's just really fucking bad here, okay? No amount of one random 5-minute storyline is gonna change the fact that the base game is just repugnant.
Enough to make me want to play those other things.
And by the way, when the people who try to gaslight you into thinking that you need to give Fallout 76 a shot, hear that you have actually played more than 10 hours, they're gonna, what they're gonna do? They're gonna tell you played the game incorrectly. You didn't make a build. or some stupid crap like that. Bro, Fallout 76 is so poorly made and there are so little options. I would not even say that this game has anything that I would define as a build. Okay? Diablo 4 has better builds than this garbage right here. What are the builds? I'll tell you what are the builds. You just get a card that says, deal more damage with the type of gun that you are using. Oh my god, you're supposed to use things that increase damage? Or I would have never... Yeah, the Fallout 72 fan base is legitimately going to try to gaslight you that you are too stupid to figure out that you need to use cards that do things. For example, the one that gets you irradiated or whatever to 25% and then you can dodge hits, you know, when they actually hit you or something like that, which is blatantly OP, by the way, pretty much always. And you know, other things like that. They're gonna try to gaslight you that you can't even read one line of text and comprehend what that actually does.
But it doesn't give me the fix of what I personally like about Fallout games, which is typically the narrative stuff, the environmental storytelling, and adventuring. And
if you're wondering why the ghouls didn't do anything, that's because it's a Bethesda game.
Exploration that comes from that. If you're a player, though, that likes the MMO side of things, if you like playing with friends, if you like the idea of wandering the wastes and basically playing a open world looter shooter with your friends in a Fallout universe with a Fallout coat of paint.
Yeah, that's called a Scorched. Their AI is as bad as it was when the game released. Other AIs are slightly better technically, but the Scorch is just a masterpiece of completely wrecked, and in 6 or however years this game has existed, Bethesda has never managed to make the Scorch not just seem completely out of place. They will T-pose, they will randomly run, they will randomly do things, they will go to melee you with ranged weapons, they will do all this magical garbage.
This is exactly that. This is going to be precisely the game you're looking for.
Like, how can you play this and not just want to instantaneously press exit game?
I don't have any more ammo. Damn it. Booyah, level up. Booyah. Sucks to suck, ghouls. So all this to say, I think it's just really, really important to ask yourself, what kind of game are you looking for? I've seen some people in our live stream chats over on Luke Stevens Live, which you should absolutely go subscribe to. We're about to hit 100,000 subs over there, and I would love for you to be in that first 100,000. But I've seen in the chats of those live streams that we do, people saying that they love the Fallout show. They haven't really tried the games before, but they went to Fallout 76, and it's just not clicking for them. They're like, I don't know, the story was...
Yeah, because Fallout 76 is still shit no matter how you spin it.
So cool, especially narratively, and I just feel like Fallout 76 has none of that. Exactly, that is like precisely right. It doesn't have any of that because it's not trying to. Fallout 76 is trying to serve a very different market of players than core, like, classical Fallout gamers, which is part of the reason it was met with so much resistance.
Which is part of the reason why the game is not successful.
When it was announced was simply because it wasn't a game any of those players, including myself, asked for. This was trying to appeal to a like entirely new demographic of people, and there are people out there that love it, which is part of the reason why Fallout 76 is going today, even still after the pretty rocky launch, let's just say. It's because the people that like this kind of game really like this kind of game and are willing to spend money and countless hundreds or even thousands of hours playing it. Whereas somebody like me, it just doesn't have the narrative fix that I'm looking for. But that's almost by design, because a game like Fallout 76 can't do everything for everybody all at the same time. And certainly,
yes, so it chose to do nothing for no one.
Certainly not well, even if they were able to achieve it. And so instead of trying to do everything for everybody, they instead chose a few core things they wanted to do, such as having a massive map that you could explore freely by yourself or with other friends.
It is pretty big. That is actually true.
And players, while also collecting all sorts of loot and equipment and encountering little combat encounters as you go while you stumble on mole rats and stuff like that. It's not going to be for everybody, but for
Why is the mole rat not doing anything because it's shot?
the people that are
Because this is peak game. I'm not kidding. This is actually peak gameplay.
looking for a game to just kind of turn their brain off and play, this can be a great time. And to their credit, Fallout 76 does have a pretty solid end game with all sorts of high-level monsters and beasts
Yeah, that's just not true.
to fight. And when you pair it with the settlement system where you can craft a base for yourself, even kitted out with all sorts of weaponry and laser turrets and stuff like that, you can actually create entire buildings designed to farm high-level monsters for all of the loot that they may give you. And this is where I'm at with Fallout 76. It's not a game that was designed for me. And even after all of the feedback and negativity and blowback they got from launch, they've improved the game and it's changed a lot, but it's still at its core is just a game that's designed for somebody other than me. I'm a player that...
Again, I don't know who this game is designed for. No one, because it's just bad. It's just really bad at almost everything it does.
It's much better in a Fallout 3 or a New Vegas or Fallout 4. This is not meant for me, but I can still appreciate what they've managed to do, which is to take a game that was previously an unmitigated disaster and turn it around into something where there's a pretty devoted fan base and community, and it's even breaking all-time concurrent player records on Steam. It's important to note it did originally launch on Bethesda Net, their own launcher, which was eventually shut down
Because no one liked it, obviously.
once, you know, they were acquired by Xbox.
The launcher, not the game. The game, no one liked the game, that's a given.
They didn't really need it. So it's not super clear what the all-time peak was back in the day, but either way, there are still tens upon tens upon tens of thousands of players enjoying Fallout 76 for the first time or for the first time in a long time, simply because they've made improvements and because the Fallout show has inspired them to go back and try it again, which I think is awesome to see.
Literally, it's just a Fallout TV show. That's it. A bunch of tourists.
Anytime there's a game that makes any sort of comeback, I think that deserves some acknowledgement and credit, because a lot of studios will put together kind of a disaster of a game and then just walk away from it and abandon it.
Well, of course. Well, the thing about Fallout 76 is it's a Bethesda game, so it is expected to hold like 3K players because the Bethesda fanboys are seriously that insane. Okay, they don't care how bad the game is, but as long as it's a Bethesda game, they're gonna play it. And this is literally Fallout 76. Before this big influx of new players, the only people who were playing it were level 1s, people who were bored enough to download it and then they quit, or level 500s, which is relatively hard to get, or, you know, level 1000s, which is hard to get. That was it. That was the people who were playing this game, only, okay? And it was, well, obviously that's pretty bad.
And that's just really tragic. And we've seen that recently with The Crew, for example, where Ubisoft...
Also, this game has blatant pay-to-win microtransactions in the shop, so have fun with that. Want to repair an item? Just buy a repair kit for money. Want a new thing? Just buy it for money. It is blatantly pay-to-win. And it's funny because the game started as, hey, there's not going to be any pay-to-win. Oh, we added a little bit of pay-to-win. Don't worry about it. Are you mad? Well, we're not going to add any more. We added more. No, seriously, that's actually unironically how it went. That is the actual legit course of events that happened. They said they're not going to add it, and one day later they add pay-to-win. Then they say they're not going to add any more, and they add more a week later. It's just crazy. And when you have 5K players constantly playing, obviously they're going to update it, because half those players are insane and have nothing else going on in their lives. So they will 100% buy those microtransactions.
After a decade of that game being out, just decided it wasn't really worth the trouble, so they just shut that game down.
No one cares about The Crew.
I think they deserve some credit for, because if you had asked any gamer back in 2018, maybe like December of 2018, where will Fallout 76 be in 6 years? Most of us would have put a lot of money on it being shut down and abandoned. So the fact that we're still here and people are still playing it and enjoying it, I think that deserves some credit. even if it's not a game for me. Oh, this guy's coming at me with a
God, NPCs are just so bad, it's insane.
baseball bat. I mean, the game is still kind of clunky. One of the reasons, oh my God. One of the reasons it's not, oh my God. Just pick it up. No, I'm out of ammo with this gun. Jeez, man. I'm not used to playing on controller, I'll tell you what. What I was saying was one of the reasons why I've not gotten super into this game is because the combat especially, sorry,
bad.
Doggo. The combat especially is just a little too laggy for me because the creation engine.
No, it's just bad. The combat is bad. More than 50% of the player base, when they start understanding how you're supposed to play this game, don't aim, they just use VOTS. Just use VOTS, then auto aim, and that's it. Because the combat is incredibly bad, and the shooting is incredibly bad. People say this is better than Fallout 3 and New Vegas. Sure, okay, it is slightly. I'll give you that, slightly. But considering how much action here is, I would argue it's worse because in those games, you're not actually having situations that often where like 10 things are going at you at the same time. Here you do have that. And that just makes the combat stand out even more as bad.
Is frankly not designed for this type of thing. It's just a little sluggish every time you fire a bullet, every time you interact with a menu, every time you press a button to harvest.
The menus are
like
horrible.
A fifth of a second before it actually registers and happens. And it's just enough for me to get like a little motion sick and nauseous. I know it's stupid. I'm spoiled. First world problems. I acknowledge that. But it's just enough to drive me a little crazy. If you're somebody that suffers from similar things, let me know. I also can't play like Doom because Doom makes me really nauseous. Even though I love Doom, I'd love to play more Doom. I can't because it makes me sick to the stomach, which is just really unfortunate because the games are awesome. There's so many little robots and I have like no healing because I don't remember why. There we go. We did it. See, but stuff like that, kind of fun. I can
Wait, did shit just despawn?
There we go. We did it.
Yep. 6 years later, stuff just still randomly despawns. It's an experience, what can I say? Anyway, that was our boy, Luke Steffens, trying his best to say that it's not complete garbage.